Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of this video, and then I'll go back and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
I'm Captain Valerie Littlejohn with the Office of Media Relations. We want to share information with you regarding a recent officer-involved shooting that occurred on December 8th at 6301 Northwest 63rd Street. Officers were dispatched to this location just before 8:30 p.m. in reference to a disturbance where suspect Antwon Hill was attempting to get into a family member's apartment. Hill did not live in the apartment he was attempting to get into. Officer Ash arrived at this location and made contact with Hill outside of the apartment. The following is video from Officer Ash's body-worn camera.
Can I just see what you have? Okay, put it down on the ground.
Wait, y'all, wait! You're a rookie. You're a rookie. You're a rookie. You don't know. You're a rookie. Go, 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 go.
Okay, stay right there. Do not move. Stay right there.
What?
Just stay over there.
Please, sir. Please. Please. Please don't do that.
73, I got a guy with a gun. I'm not doing anything. Look, I'm not doing. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I'm not.
I'm finna shoot your ass.
Don't
punk.
shoot.
I'm
Don't
finna
shoot.
shoot your bitch ass. Don't drop the gun.
I don't have it. Look.
Look.
I don't have it. I don't have it. Shots fired. Shots fired. The guy has a gun over here. Isabella. I'm okay, but I need backup.
Hill barricaded himself in the family member's apartment and was eventually taken into custody by the tactical unit and was booked into the Oklahoma County Detention Center for felony pointing a firearm and possession of a firearm after conviction of a felony. The investigation is still in the early stages and will take time to complete.
All right, let's get back into this. So this officer responds to an incident involving this guy who is trying to gain entry into a dwelling that he does not belong to. The camera is still in buffer mode. Most of your quality body cameras have a buffering mode on them. And what that means is the camera is in the on position, just like you would have a camcorder. You have a power position where you have it turned to the on position, but you're not recording. So it's kind of like that. But the buffering part of it is internally the camera is capturing images and storing them for a predetermined amount of time. And that can be set up on each camera differently. This particular camera system, I can tell it's Axon based off by the Axon symbol up here in the right corner and the fact that it says Axon Body 3. The buffering mode can be configured as low as 10 seconds all the way up to 120 seconds, but the default is 30 seconds. So the camera will store images for 30 seconds, and then past that it just basically starts deleting anything extra. And it will do this for the entire time that the camera is in the on position. And then at whatever point that you hit the record button, once you hit that button and you start recording video, it includes up to 30 seconds prior to you hitting that record button. So the camera is on this continuous loop, basically. And that's what we're seeing right here is part of that loop that is in the buffering mode. And once he hits record, you'll hear the audio come on, and that lets you know that he's hit record. Now, on some of these videos that you'll see out there where they're using the Antwon camera, you're going to hear audio, and then you see their hand come up and hit it. That's because there's also a setting where you can include audio in the buffering mode, but that also causes more data to be ate up. And because you're processing more data, that means the battery is being used more. And when the battery is getting used more, the camera itself has a shorter life, so to speak, on duty. So you can get 12 hours out of the camera roughly, but you start turning on all the bells and whistles. Now that 12-hour camera is now an 8-hour camera. Not exactly, but you get the drift. So I personally think that based on this call that he's going to, he knows he's going to be getting involved with someone. I think that he should have already had this camera rolling before he ever approached this guy. And definitely, upon making contact with this guy, and we see that he's talking to him at some point, now this guy's walking away, definitely should have activated the camera at that point. But before ever making it to this guy, I think the camera should have been turned on. That way you don't have to worry about it. Everything's turned on and recording, and you don't have to worry about it in moments notice. Now when he gets to this point where he's dealing with him and the guy is quote unquote resisting, you see he swats his hand away. Well, this officer is on the verge of trying to figure out whether or not he wants to go fully hands-on with this guy. And let's say he did commit to going fully hands-on with this guy and his camera wasn't recording yet. Well, when's he going to activate his camera? When can he activate his camera? If he's got both hands on this guy, is it worth it to take one hand off this guy just to reach up to activate the camera? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. So I think it's always best to turn the camera on before you ever make contact with people. And definitely once you lay eyes on someone and tell them to stop something and they don't do it, automatically that camera needs to come on. Otherwise, you're going to lose your opportunity to do it. And or when you finally do decide to turn it on, like in this moment right here, he is way too close to be fiddling with that camera. This guy could have gotten a good advantage on him while he's reaching up, turning his camera on. Anyway, this guy, we can tell that there's some type of interaction going on between the officer and him. I would suspect that he's telling the dude to stop, identify himself, etc. The guy's not paying attention. He's walking away. Obviously, he says something to him because he turns around and looks at him. And we see his nonverbal communications with him with his hand. Looks like he's gesturing towards him to come back over here. He's obviously saying, at this point, obviously don't want him reach in his pockets. He's reaching out. This guy swats at him. Now he turns the camera on.
Can I just see what you have? Okay.
Of course, his thumb wants to cover it up. All right, this point right here. The minute this gun came out, it completely changes everything. This is a deadly force encounter at this point. Any person with a logical mindset, any reasonable person would believe that this guy pulling this gun out is about to do something bad with it. I seriously doubt that this guy just had this random thought to say, hey, I wonder if I can get this officer's advice on this recent firearms purchase. Hey, do you like this gun? Do you think I paid a decent amount for it? Or do you think that I paid too much for it? Like, no reasonable person is going to believe that that's what this guy was doing. Or that this guy was going to say, hey, I found this on the ground. Do you want it? No. Like, no reasonable person is going to make that first assumption. Any reasonable person first assumption is going to be this guy's about to do something bad with this gun. And by bad means he's about to point it at the officer and shoot him. This officer, in my opinion, completely failed in responding to this appropriately. The officer should have drawn his gun and pointed it at this guy. And at this point, let's say the way this guy's standing right here, he pulls his gun out and he points at him. So long as this guy's still standing like this with the gun pointed down, he could give clear verbal instructions for him to drop the gun. And then after that point, if he decides not to drop it, then the officer can use deadly physical force. The officer at this point realistically doesn't even need to use verbal commands. He can realistically just reach down, pull his gun out of his holster, aim, and start shooting at this guy. Because he can articulate that he feared for his life. And any reasonable person would look at this and say, yeah, I could see how you would be in fear for your life when taking the count that you're dealing with this guy. He's being resistant. He's not following instructions, and then bam, automatically pulls out a gun. Any reasonable person would say that a person would have had a reasonable fear for their life, and he would have been justified in using deadly physical force. So the options for this officer is, one, he could immediately draw and start shooting and be legally fine with it. Or he could have drawn, got the gun on him, and gave verbal commands for him to drop it. And if he didn't, use deadly physical force, still would have been justified. This officer didn't do that. This officer didn't even get his gun out.
Okay, put it down on the ground.
Wait, y'all, wait! You're a rookie. You're a rookie. You're a rookie. You don't know.
The suspect starts to taunt the officer and call him a rookie. The suspect, in my opinion, knows that this officer is not a threat to him. I would say that this suspect, based off the entire interaction so far and this officer's lack of aggressiveness, made him the beta, I guess you could say, and the suspect was feeling alpha at this point. And I would say that's also what has led to this suspect coming out of this breezeway and pointing the gun at the officer and doing what he did. I think that he felt comfortable in doing that. I felt that he felt safe in doing that because he felt this officer was not going to do a damn thing. He could tell, I think that he could tell this officer did not have the fight in him. Or as they say it on the street, this guy was probably sizing this officer up and down and was saying he was a bitch. Now at this point, he has some cover. He has this brick face right here. He 100% should have made this his last line in the sand. I could maybe buy, okay, you can't you can't outdraw a drawn gun. Okay, I get that. He backed away. The guy stayed where he was at. He retreated, and he got behind cover. This would have been perfect opportunity for him to be able to pull that gun out and get it in the ready. And he should have at this point, 100%. He should have got his gun out and been prepared to fight in the event that this guy came at him. And this should have been his last line in the sand.
Okay, stay right there. Do not move. Stay right there.
What?
Just stay over there.
Please, sir. Please. Please. Please don't do that.
73, I got a guy with a gun. I'm not doing anything. Look, I'm not doing. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I'm not. I'm finna shoot your ass. Don't shoot. Don't
I'm finna shoot your bitch.
Yeah, so this never, ever should have been allowed to get to this point at all. Never should have been allowed to get to this point. The citizens of Oklahoma should have never seen this image right here. The rest of the citizens in the U.S. should have never seen this image right here. We should never see someone like this pointing a gun at a police officer. Don't need to see it happen. Should not be happening. This officer, in my opinion, should be reevaluated to see if he's fit for duty. I don't think he's fit for duty. He completely dropped the ball on this. He has put his community at risk. What if this dude shot him in the face and killed him? Well, he could have taken the police officer's service weapon, his backup weapon, could have took his police radio with him. The failure may not just rest solely upon the officer. It may also rest with the agency and the field training officers who are assigned to this guy. It's possible this guy could have just fallen through the cracks like so many others do. He could have fallen through the cracks and everyone thought he was going to be okay. Or there could have been some signs that some people noticed and said, hey, this there's some issues here. Like, this guy's he's not about it. Like, he's a little timid, he doesn't want to do anything. Like, I personally would suspect that there were signs before this ever occurred. Like, I would not be surprised to hear that some people would say they would not be comfortable with this guy backing them up on a call, or they would not want to be alone with this guy on a call, and they prefer someone else to be there to back them up. Like, that would not surprise me one bit. But he made it, and he became gainfully employed, and got to this point. And I think this point should be the line. This point should be the last line in the sand for the agency. Like, this should be evidence of his termination hearing. Like, it really should. This is a danger to the community and in society. This guy failed to act. He failed to protect himself, and he failed to protect the community. Not much else to say about this. Really, really not much else. If you have any likes or comments, go ahead and leave them down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson with Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.